Today I'm talking about the psychotherapeutic concept of complexes or sub-personalities. And I use these terms interchangeably, and it comes from Jungian psychology, but also elaborated upon by Dr. Schwartz in his Internal Family Systems program. So these are very useful concepts to wrestle with, because all of us, to some degree or other, have these subpersonalities or complexes, and it can affect our experience of life and our enjoyment of life. So I hope you find this interesting. Thank you. Good morning. So I've been thinking a lot about complexes. Now, complexes in Jungian psychology are these accumulations of energy that often occur in certain places in time and space when we encounter something dramatic or traumatic. And they take on a life of their own. So if it's a case of severe trauma, it's like you also create a distinct personality, sub-personality at that point in time. Now, more recently, things like internal family systems have taken Jung's ideas, the complex and the sub-personality, and given them new names, such as protectors and exiles. And this can be a useful, accessible way into this area and this way of thinking. So if you imagine the child who's had a bad experience, and at that point, the child, we're all programmed to survive. We all have that in our DNA. So we adapt very quickly to whatever this traumatic situation is. And we create behaviors that flow from this complex or this sub-personality. And these behaviors are designed to keep us alive, essentially. So perhaps it's avoiding the drunk father or the drug addict mother who might hurt us at that time. So we find ways to avoid the worst of their behaviors as a child. And that gets embedded in the unconscious. And as we grow into adulthood, we forget that it's even there. And as Carl Jung said, unless the unconscious is made conscious, it directs our lives, and we'll call it fate. So there we are as adults, going about our business, trying consciously to achieve certain aims and objectives in our lives. But unconsciously, we're constantly being derailed. There's behaviors that we know are just not serving our purpose. And we can't figure it out. We think this is fate. We shake our fists at the sky, scream at God, rail at the universe, and say, why are you picking on me? Why am I the victim here? But eventually, hopefully, we calm down and we realize, well, no, this is coming from us. This is coming from us. This is my behavior. But why am I behaving in this way? Perhaps it's you scupper your relationships as an adult because every time things get a little bit difficult, you avoid the discussion and run away. And eventually the partner thinks, well, this is no good. I can't deal with this person. And so they give up on you. And then you think, why do these people keep leaving me? Why am I always being abandoned? Just like my father abandoned me or my mother. And until we realize, no, this is your sub-personality. This is your complex that's failing to engage with your adult partner. then you're doomed to this terrible pattern of suffering. So in the therapeutic process, we have to make that unconscious complex conscious. We have to recognize the pattern. What is the behavior that we're playing out? What is the emotion associated with it? What are the thoughts? What is the cognitive structure that governs this complex, this sub-personality? How does it think? What's it telling us? And we analyze it in every detail. And then we confront it. And we challenge it. Not in a nasty way, because this is part of us. But we challenge its utility, whether it's really serving us. And certainly in internal family systems, you approach this subpersonality like it's the orphan child that's got lost at this stage in your development. You show it that compassion. You address its fears. So whereas the fears drove it to this adaptive behavior when you're a child, it's no longer working. So you ask it. You thank this part of yourself for having done its work, but you ask it to stand down. So your work is done now. Can you please stand back and let us progress beyond this now? Let us see what's beyond this. Let us dive deeper into ourselves and perhaps uncover the self. And the self is what we're aiming for. The self is at the center of our being. In Jungian terms, the self is interconnected with everything else. And it's infinitely capable of healing and regeneration and renewal and creative energy and spiritual guidance and love and compassion. All of these amazing qualities are within all of us. What the Buddhists might call the Buddha nature, what in Christianity might be the kingdom of heaven, they're all within us. But we have to access it. We have to get out of our own way. We have to address these complexes, these sub-personalities. We have to show ourselves the love and compassion that we didn't get when we were children. And therefore we begin that process of healing. And this is why therapy is so important for so many people, because unfortunately there are lots of us who went through these difficult childhoods, difficult early experiences, and developed these complexes that now direct our lives in ways that don't work for us anymore. They worked when we were young, they don't work anymore. So we need to do the work to create the healing and to integrate these sub-personalities back into the self. And thus we create a wholeness, thus we get out of our way, thus we get to live the life we're supposed to live.